Hi, welcome to the presentation of the Project Brighty. My name's Amy, and let's start. So please let me start by introducing something about myself. I have always considered myself as a visual sociologist. My design reflects on my observations and concerns about contemporary society. During my master degree, I've had opportunity to develop my own design ideologies and realize my strengths in communicating through visual means. While I did not intentionally choose to focus solely on feminist topics, I find myself in an interesting position where I am increasingly concerned and interested in issues related to Chinese feminism. I begin with my personal experiences and approach these topics from various angles. Ultimately, my work revolves around observing and analyzing the invisible oppressions faced by Chinese women in their daily life. One more thing that connects my practice is my crooked sense of humor. The reason for this is that I always appreciate a good joke, and I find it to be a way to lighten up many of my heavier topics, making them more approachable and less controversial. This is very important to me because I feel that with sensitive topics, people may have defensive reactions that prevent them from being willing to take the time to understand other people's point of view. So, on the other hand, I also believe humor is an impactful way to sarcastically protest. So since last term, I have been investigating the patriarchal oppression that is overlooked under the custom of bride price. I have conducted extensive research on current discussions, whether it was in serious feminism broadcast or lively TV show debates. Additionally, I have interviewed people from different generations and regions to gain a more comprehensive understanding. As a result, I have realized that bride price as a tradition has a complex nature. It serves both to oppress women and as a tool that helps women. People have varied interpretations and application of it. However, this does not change the fact that bride price as a cultural tradition inherited from patriarchal societies originally represented economic exchange and objectification in women's marriages. These aspects no longer align with need and values of this era, yet due to its historical continuity and complexity, it continues to influence the relationships between the sexes in the new generation. So here I posed my research question. How does consumer behavior within Chinese marriage customs fundamentally affect interpersonal relationships? And I summarized that into two bullet points that I wish to explore during this project. First, the oppression and objectification of women caused by bride price. Second, the economic exchange behind the scenes. So these are my response and also my stand of my project. So first, women are evaluated based on their own conditions, and the bride price becomes an explicit expression of this evaluation. Factors such as age, appearance, job, and family backgrounds all determine the amount of bride price a woman can receive. Second, the transaction implies the emergence of three roles: women as commodities, parents as sellers, and groom's family as buyers. This initial power imbalance subtly influences marriage relationship and identity information. So, give you as an example, if you were like a buyer who paid a large amount of money, you will expect something in return, and that's what I meant by power imbalance. And yeah, so what I wish to achieve for this project. I would like to bring attention to the corrupted nature of the traditional bride price and use it as a starting point for people to reflect on the other hidden disciplines that we have neglected or felt too comfortable with. And also visualize and put people in Chinese women's shoes, help them understand how they are objectified and evaluated by bride price. Oh, yeah, I would like to add something. So, although initially I was targeting younger generations in China around my age, the aim is to provoke discussions and evoke emotional responses. During the process, I've come to realize that bride price serves as an explicit example of the hidden patriarchal disciplines that might be faced by women worldwide. So I hope this project can serve as a catalyst to help women recognize their circumstances and potentially bring positive changes. Sorry. So, in order to respond to the research questions, I've chosen the format of a toy design, specifically spoofing Barbie. which is because Barbie holds a special significance for girls of my generations. Around the turn of the 21st century, with American culture massively imported into China, Barbie, as a prominent American symbol, reached the peak of its popularity in China. Back then, magazines, movies, cartoons, advertisement were all flooded with Barbie promotions, making her the best-selling and most iconic girl's toy of the time. I even remember throwing tantrum in the store, crying and fussing to get my parents to buy me a Barbie doll. Barbie is beautiful and omnipotent, omnipotent. She represents all the possibilities that we as women can have, just like its a classic slogan, you can be anything. As a child, I dreamed of growing up to be as beautiful and powerful as Barbie, or one day suddenly discovered that I was a princess, a fairy, or a mermaid, with the courage and the ability to do anything I wanted. So there's no doubt that Barbie has been the representation of feminine power and the limitless possibilities of being a woman. However, Barbie also represents this specific type of girl. Her most iconic imagery is blonde and blue-eyed. She is beautiful, perfectly kind and caring, confident, tolerant, and always performs her best in every circumstances. We look up to her when we are young and innocent, and she becomes the standard or a role model for a perfect woman to us, which makes her both dreamy and unrealistic. But as I grew older, I discovered that reality is not as beautiful as the fairy tale world constructed by Barbie. There are numerous obstacles on the path to achieve your dreams, and those who do not conform to society norms often become outsiders and accepted by society. You do not always have the freedom and choice to be anything. One thing I also realized during the process is that Chinese people have this weird obsession when it comes to marriages. My thoughts on marriages stem from numerous nagging from my mother, suggesting that once I returned to China, she would arrange blind dates for me. Although she has always nagged me about not having a boyfriend, it was in that moment I realized that perhaps, more than my happiness, she values whether I conform to the expectations of a typical Chinese woman, getting married at the appropriate age and fulfilling traditional roles. Her concern of my romantic relationship seems more like fulfilling her duty as a mother, ensuring her child continues the family line and lives a conventional life like everyone else. And these ideologies lead to extreme outcomes. We are driven to the extent of setting up dating markets in every city, advertising either ourselves or our offsprings, all in the pursuit of matching socially compatible pairs and forming families with people we barely know or have connections with. The fact that we literally call those blind date corners markets is fascinating to me because it connects back to my exploration of how marriages often originate from economic exchanges. Therefore, this idea of using Barbie metaphor and creating toy merchandises has multiple layers of meaning. First, I want to emphasize how toys like Barbie affects children's perceptions from a young age. I also want to visualize how women are objectified and expected to meet certain standards, and how society places high value on the traditional life path of supporting a husband and raising children, which also links to the first purpose because since a young age we our girls are told to become this decent housewife and somebody's bride or somebody's mother. So most importantly, I want to highlight this transactional behavior that holds women hostage and silences their choices. So I decided to create a spoof band called Bridey, which promotes and sells perfect bride, ideal brides to the grooms or tame little girls to be a certain standard bride through playing. And therefore, this is like the company motto that I write for the company. So I want to mimic the same aesthetics of Barbie brand in order to strengthen the visual implication and link it specifically to Barbie. I choose red and yellow as signature color, similar to Barbie's most iconic hot pink. These colors help promote and unify all the sub-designs. Additionally, I incorporate some of Barbie's popular branding elements, such as glitters and reflective textures. I came up with multiple designs for variety, branding women in different career paths, taking a similar approach to the original Barbie brand. However, instead of promoting the idea that you can be anything as a woman, the purpose of these designs is to demonstrate that no matter what career path you choose, society still evaluates you through the male gaze, calculating how good you are as a wife material. So therefore, on the back of each box, I include a paragraph highlighting the explicit pros of marrying each type of woman, akin to desperate matchmaker trying to sell their stock. And here are the two examples of what I write for these two editions. And if you have time or if you are interested, you can probably zoom into these pictures and see what I wrote for other editions as well. So I try to keep it fun, but also very ironic at the same time. Inspired by the original Barbie packaging design, I initially tried to mimic and create a design structure that harmonized all the different packages, as the picture on the left shows. However, I didn't realize that a simpler system like a set logo or a mutual color scheme would be enough to connect all the designs. So I went for a more fun and bold approach that highlights different careers from the packagings. So yeah, here are some of the examples that I made for different types of the careers, and here are some little design choices that I felt most proud of. So I did spend a lot of time collecting different clothes, different props, making sure they were all Asian dolls, and making sure each careers that I chose or each appearance of the dolls I chose represents a different quality of a perfect wife. So here's another picture of what it looks like for the final outcome. So after finishing all these different toy designs, I started to think about how would like the audience to participate or interact with the work in an exhibitional environment. I've realized through various tutorials and ongoing discussions with my friends or with my target audiences about the project, and I realized that I need to have this conversational interactions with the audience as well, because the issue of bride price is a very specific cultural tradition, and it's mostly occurring in China. So it is important that I have these interactions that allows me to better explain the context of the issue and help people to understand the design at the same time. What could be a better conversational interaction than the actual selling experience? So I have considered different ideas and finally decided that it should be a two-way transaction in order to highlight and also call back to the purpose of this project. I came up with this idea to help personalize the perfect bride for the audiences. I will receive orders from them, and in return, they will get a bridey wedding invitation, which is which look like this in the previous pages. Yeah. And all these different categories are based on criteria society used to evaluate women. And the pricing was carefully calculated based on statistical data from annual reports. I aim to make it fun and ironic, incorporating twists such as reducing the price if you choose a bride with doctorate degree, because while society likes clever women, they don't want them to be too clever. I also create a contract for people to sign, which includes some fun yet realistic terms and conditions that reflect how the bride price system operates. So I have also been considering how the female audiences should interact with the experience. To enhance the engagement, female participants can choose to take a self-assessment test using the same criteria to estimate their own bride price. And they will get like a report card in return, just like this. So in order to test interactions and receive feedbacks from my target audiences, I have run several tests on a range of people, and the feedbacks I've got that helps me improve my processes. I did worry at the beginning about how it being vague or too offensive, because there's a fine line between them I do not want to cross. But the test results shows that it was just fun. And the audience said it was fun, new, even though they felt a little bit offended. But that actually helps to make them reconsider of what the Chinese women have to have gone through. Yeah, have to be put through. So this is the plan for the final exhibition. I wanted to create this box-like shelf that displayed all my toy designs. One thing that I wish to achieve by this vending machine-like shelf is to hint that this is a selling interactions rather than just a showing of the toy designs. And since this is a brand, I need some sort of advertising. And I decided to use what I already have and create an advertisement on the back of the shelf and allow people to see from a distance, ideally attract them to come and participate. And the sizing for this shelf is about 180 times 60 centimeters. And that's it. Thank you for listening.